Hello, and good time zone. And what is up, gamers? Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Happy stream and happy day to you. Hope you're having the loveliest of lovely Thursdays. I have just hit a massive tiredness wall. I debated whether or not to start today because I was like, damn, but I'm just tired. Tired isn't an excuse not to get art did. So here I am. Hello. Hi, Turnip. Welcome in. Lovely to see you. Hello, hello, hello. Let me... Do you want to actually see what we're working on today? Because it's cute, but it's a funny shape. I wanted to do something bookmark dimensions. And so that's why we have this bad boy here. And I hope it will be cute. I'm putting away these paints because I'm not using these paints today. I hope that's alright. I'm using different paints. And I think that will bode well for us. Gnome husbands, says Turnip. Yes. I haven't painted these guys in a little while. It's been a few months, and I thought it would be nice to revisit them, see what they're up to. And today, they are sitting in front of a little fire in a little clearing in the woods, getting real cozy, having a little bit of a cuddle, and hopefully we'll be able to see some very impressively star-studded night sky above them as well. Yes. It's a weird set of dimensions to work with, but every once in a while it's really fun to do. Even if it is terrible for display purposes. Like, you know, I could kind of go this way, but then it's too wide. I can go this way, but it's too long. Trying to post a picture of an art in these dimensions on social medias, oh, good luck. It will not look good anyways, but it will look cute and nice as a you know, sort of a bookmark sized and shaped object. That I don't know if it's good, it might turn into a bookmark, who knows. Anyways, if you're not familiar with the gnome husbands, let me bring you in a little closer so you can see. One of them wears a red hat, the other one wears a blue hat, and they're in love, and they're really cute, and there's some fire, and behind them will be some, you know, abstract trees, that kind of thing, and then above the abstract trees there will be some night sky, that kind of thing. Hopefully it will all be cute.
Oh hell yeah, Samantha_42 just subscribed. Getting ever closer to hitting that 1 year mark.
Oh my goodness, Samantha_42, thank you very much for the sub. 50 months, that's so close to a year. You are almost there. Good job. Also, thank you so very much. Oh, scared the hell out of me. Thank you. Also, once again, I apologize / you're welcome that TTS Nicole reads out that username as Samantha_42. TTS Nicole tries her best as Turnip. Yeah, she does. Anyways, how are you doing? It's lovely to see you. And hello, Tals, as well. Hello. Oh, good. My lungs have done the thing. Apparently, there's nothing wrong with my lungs, but every once in a while, I just develop this problem where it feels like something is just pressing on my lungs or my airways somewhere, and I can't get in a full, like, lung full of air. And then when I finally do, it's like, oh, oxygen. But apparently there's nothing wrong with me, so thanks, modern medicine. Yay. Anyways, getting people's names right is against wombat culture. It is a sign of respect that she has somewhat mispronounced your name. To be fair, she also doesn't know how to pronounce my name, if it makes you feel any better. She calls me Sami Kelsh or Sami Kelsh. I can't remember. One of them. But, again, she's trying. Oh, man. I microwaved this for, like, a minute, and it does not taste like I microwaved it at all. It is... I mean, I know I shouldn't be microwaving my delicious filter coffees anyways, but look, it just... I think there's a bit of a draft in the windowsill, and where I'm normally sitting is next to a window. So I put the coffee beside me. Um, and I think the draft coming in from the window makes it get cold real fast, real fast. Um, and I am a slow drinker of beverages. In other news, I am not feeling very well. Holy heck. This might be a short stream, but we're gonna stream anyways because I can, and I do also have some comforting lemon ginger tea here to help me, soldier on. Has it been appropriately stirred? Is this okay? This has like a full complement of honey in here, and it does not taste very sweet. It's very lemony. Oh, good. Microwaving tea is the American way, and to be honest, it's a step up from trying to make it with seawater. Oh no. Oh no, don't you do it. Ew. Oh, no, that's not appropriately hydrating. You'll be sick. Please don't do that. But also it does distress me to know that a lot of people in like I grew up in North America with the same electricity as Americans did. In Canada, of course. But we always had some kind of like a kettle. We had an electric kettle, or we had like a stovetop kettle, but we had some kind of kettle for boiling water. We didn't microwave water to make tea. How do you know what temperature it is? Also, that's so unsafe, cuz sometimes like you boil water real hard in the microwave, it superheats, but it looks like it's still, and then you drop something into it that disturbs the surface of the water, and it explodes? Do you want exploding tea? No! Why would you do this? It's a bad idea. That's how you get burns. Americans used to be so bad at making tea that the UK went to war over it. Oh. I see what you did there. You're referencing the Boston Tea Party. In fairness to the Americans, tea was taxed at one, like, for the first time in Britain, and then they imposed a second tax on it when they imported it to the colonies. So I could understand justifiably being like, hey, why is our tea that much more expensive? Go F yourself. As someone who loves tea. On the other hand, I'm Canadian. It's a legal requirement for me to like America less than where I'm from, and I do. So any Americans in the chat, I love you. But British chocolate is yummier. I'm sorry. Anyways, and now, oh boy, I hear that America loves having extra tariffs. Okay. Yeah. As a person what does money business on the internet, I have a shot, by the way. Yeah, that's been a bit of a minefield to try, and it's just in the last few years, like, so many, not just the States, but like other countries have also been like, we're going to impose weird, confusing, annoying, and honestly not worth your time rules and regulations on how you can like ship stuff to us. Like, there are certain rules for like parts of Europe where you're supposed to you have to have like different like tax codes and tariff codes and stuff, and it's really confusing as to what the code is supposed to be, because it's all obviously intended for like industry and large companies to do this reporting. It doesn't make sense. If you're just a person selling a sticker and sending it in like a piece of stamped post, like, none of this should be affecting you. There's additionally some countries have, and some countries are looking to some other countries are looking to introduce this idea that if you send any commercial goods that are purchased to that country, you have to pay a fee to go towards the cost of recycling those packaging materials, and it requires you to like estimate how much in kilograms of packaging you are likely to import into the country that then needs to be recycled in a year, and pay a fee based on that. And it's like, if the answer is upwards of a single envelope. I don't know. I'm one person selling stickers on Etsy or whatever. Like, what are you supposed to do with this? It's entirely designed for big companies like Amazon, who will find ways to skirt around it anyways, but it's like the tiny little businesses that get screwed by this. Anyways, Tal says, if only there was some way the UK could have been within the EU customs area. Yeah. Y'all, I'm tired. I'm tired and I want to think about gnomes. It's okay. It's not you. It's not you. It's Brexit. But I am tired. But I am also, I do have a money business where you can buy things like bookmarks from my shop. That I can send to you no matter where you live. So, but that being said, if you live in a country that is not the US, I'm still figuring out how the US thing works. I should probably just ask the post office. I think I just have to separate out the US. No, I can't do that with the way that my shop template is set up. Yeah, if you want to buy a pin and you are not based in the US and you're not based in the UK, just send me a message. And I will just set up like a shipping profile so that I can send it specifically to whatever country you're in, okay? That's pretty much all I can do at this point. Otherwise, it's so faffy. And I don't sell that many pins these days because I haven't made any new pins in a while because shipping things to people is a massive pain in the backside and it just isn't worth it anymore. Anyways, I have stickers and bookmarks and prints, and those are really easy for me to post because I can just stick them in an envelope with a stamp. Also, the postage is way cheaper for y'all. And I don't have to fill out a customs form, which I hate doing. Those are the worst. Anyways. But yeah. So I wanted to do some bookmarky designs, because I haven't done any of those in a little while, and I think they're fun and cute, and I hope that you agree. You agree. Anyways, this is our gnome husbands who you may be familiar with. If you're not familiar with them, they look like this. They are in love, and they're just having a cozy little moment by a little fire in the woods, safely practicing fire safety, of course, which is very important. And I literally just went on a health and safety training course. Ask me questions about it. You know, the thing about going on a health and safety training course is that like 98% of it is common sense. And then they give you a set of quiz questions where you have to like tick boxes about the things that you just learned, and inevitably the questions are really unclear. And you're just like, oh, all of the above sounds like it makes sense. And they're like, that's incorrect. And then they don't tell you which of the one things that you ticked was incorrect. It's just... I've never before heard of these gnomes husbands, says Samantha. Well, do you want a little refreshment? Do you want a little refreshment as to what they look like? Because I can show you. Let me show you. This may take me a few minutes of scrolling on Instagram to find the last time I posted them, because I think it was a few months ago. But I'm right. It was a few months ago. Oh, here they are. Here's like a master post of a bunch of gnome husband content that I will now make you look at. Anyways. Should I be healthy or safe? Yes, Tals. Yes, you should. Turnip says, oh, I hate that. You made a mistake in a test. Want to learn what you did wrong? Nope. Yeah, it's just like... It's like the goofiest things. Which of the following things should you report to the health and safety office? And you're like... Any of these, maybe? And if I report anything that needs to be reported to a different office, they'll just send me back an email and be like, I'm CCing in the person that you should be talking to about it. Like, it's fine. It's fine. Anyways. I feel healthy and safe. That's the good news. But yeah. Okay, I'm gonna... This window... Oh my god, this window worked the first time. What the hell? That never happens. It's always broken. And this time it's not. What? I'm so happy. Anyways, here's some gnome husband artwork. As you can see, they're just a couple of little dudes who are in love. Here they are going to Going to the best picnic spot in the Enchanted Forest, which obviously is directly under a rainbow. This is because they are gay fellas. Here they are, snuggled down in their little cozy cottage with a nice cup of hot chocolate with whipped cream, of course, because they're not monsters. They are clever little guys who recognize the importance of making your hot beverages as indulgent as possible, if that's what you're into. Here they are, picking strawberries. And as you can see, they are quite little guys, which is why the strawberries are so large. And here they are going through a walk in the woods in the wintertime and feeling all cozy and stuff about it. There is another... There's definitely other pieces of these two that I've done. I think I did a sticker design of them at some point, so you can get a sticker of the Gnome Husbands if you want, !shop if you want a link to the shop. And there's one other that I think I did for... Oh yeah, this is the one I did for streaming last year. Teehee, teehee. And here they are snuggled down at the end of a long day in their cozy little gnome cottage bed with a cup of tea that's definitely going to be cold by the morning sitting on the bedside table. And they've put out their little oil lamp, and they've put out their little candles, and they've got their little diary in which they probably wrote, "Dear diary, today I had a really nice day with my little gnome husband, and it was lovely." And I don't know why I'm giving them an accent, because presumably they speak gnome, and I don't know what the gnome accent would be. Possibly some flavor of like a Nordic language. But there they are, having a nice little sleep at the end of a long, lovely day. Anyways, I love the walk in the woods one, says Styles. Oh, thank you. That's very, very kind. I appreciate it. Truly, I do. I do love painting these little guys. I think they're really cute. And I'm using a sort of autumny, wintry palette today, which I think will be good. We've got a nice sort of night sky blue because I'm hoping to get some night sky up here with lots and lots of stars because we're out in the forest. And we've got some good colors for like their little red hat and their little blue hat, and a nice roaring fire down here and some brown stuff, and I can try and make some kind of nighttime tree color. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I don't know what bit of this to paint first. Oh no. I don't know what bit of this I should paint first. Heck. Maybe I should start filling in sort of like the background around these guys. That might not be a terrible idea. So let me figure out how to do that. I'm gonna move my tea slightly so I have space for my paints and my tea and my palette, but I'm not gonna move my tea there because I don't want my tea to fall off the desk. That would be bad. Anyways, paint the book. Samantha, my friend. Do you see this blank piece of paper here? Do you see this blank piece of paper right here? Do you want to know a secret about this blank piece of paper? Because I resolved that I was gonna do like a bookmark shaped design, and if you're gonna do a bookmark shaped design, you gotta take your A6 sheet of paper and cleave it in twain so that it is the correct shape, more or less, for a bookmark. I haven't drawn them in yet, but this is going to be a bookshelf bookmark. People had better like and want this, considering how much people tell me to paint bookshelves. I'm just putting that out there. That y'all had better like that, or I'll feel sad. Anyways, I'm gonna try and move things around a bit so that the screen feels a little bit more full, because I can't really zoom the camera in anymore, because this is taking up most of the height, but it's not taking up any of the width. But yeah, I do have a bookshelf bookmark planned. I hadn't decided. I wanted to stick some little creatures in there to make it like extra whimsical, but I hadn't decided what little creatures I wanted to have sort of hiding amongst the books. So I haven't done it yet. But I will work that out, and it'll get painted maybe on Monday. I don't know. Who knows? Not me. Anyways, Samantha says, it just wouldn't be a Sammy Kelch piece without them making things way harder than it needed to be by putting in too many bookshelves. I don't want to become a cliche. I don't want to become like, this is the one thing that you paint. This is the only thing that you're known for, and anything else that you do will fail because people expect you to do this one thing, and they get really excited when you do the one thing, and if you do anything else, they don't know what to do with that, and then you have to apologize for making something different when you decide to stray from your brand. I'm thinking of YouTubers that I used to watch who'd like occasionally want to just make a video about like their pets or something like that, and they'd be like, I'm so sorry that this is a video about my pets, because I know that you guys don't like that very much, but I just really wanted to do it, and it's just that makes me feel so sad. You should do whatever the hell you feel like. Anyways, oh god, I just I'm gonna finish reading chat. So tempted to do a terrible drawing time of bookshelves, says Turnip, but I'm hoarding my channel points like a dragon. You keep on hoarding those channel points. I love that for you. Someday maybe I'll make a channel point redeem that's just like 500,000 points, and it's nothing. It's nothing. It's just, hey, here's an opportunity to redeem those channel points you've been saving up. It doesn't do anything, but you can do that. Anyways. Q2 says, I only expect you to do terrible drawing times. Heck. I will terrible drawing time whenst it is redeemed. I will try not to do terrible drawing when it's not, but I make no guarantees because I am a human being, and my creative output varies in terms of subject matter and indeed quality. Anyways, thank you for the posture check. I am lengthening my spine as you suggest. It feels really bad because my lungs are having a hard time. Anyways, thank you for the hydrate as well. I'll take a sip of my coffee because it's tepid. Yummy. Yes, 90% of your art is bookshelves, 90% of your art is boyfriend/husbands, and yes, there's a lot of overlap there. I'll have you know, I have like a half-finished sketch of a throuple. I just haven't painted it on stream because it's Star Trek fan art. And I'm trying to spare you people. Anyways. 500,000 channel points, one free nothing, says Samantha. Hey, listen, you know what? Sometimes that's exactly what I would want to do. If I was to do like a 500,000 channel point redeem, I would want it to do something like just some stupid animation pops up on screen that's just like, damn, somebody watched way too much of this stream, you know? Anyways, can I show... Oh, tentacle face me. Yeah, the absolute horror that was, you know, I feel like very Halloween appropriate, because this feels like something that should show up in a terrifying film. Can you come into focus, please, you ding dong? Focus up. There I am. Horrifying. Anyways. Oh my, spicy system. It's not that spicy. It's not that spicy. I mostly just wanted to draw my Blorbos in outfits that I own and like. And it's the O'Briens and also Kira. Just since you asked. It's there. That's a very special throuple to me. Rex says, a streamer I know has a 1 million channel point redeem, something meaningful, and it's nothing. It just says, thanks for being meaningful. That's really sweet, Rex. That is really sweet. I love it. Telsus makes sense. They did have a baby together. They did. They did. And I swear, Keiko O'Brien was trying so hard to make that throuple happen, and I'm so mad that it didn't. Like, she really was. You know, she would have been like, oh no, there's only, you know, we've taken you on a vacation to this cottage in Bajor because you're having our baby and you need to relax, but there's only one bed here. What will we do? And then, you know, like Miles would be like, oh no, that's okay. I'll just sleep on the floor because he's a sweet man, but also an idiot. I was trying to work out which thruffles his turnip. I was wrong. I mean, spill the beans. Who did you think? Who are you thinking of? You've piqued my curiosity now. Anywho. Oh, the possibilities are somewhat endless. Anyways, Rex is on a 3 stream steak. That's an impressive meal's worth of sets. Too many steaks for a regular meal. You can freeze a couple of those and have them as leftovers. Make yourself a nice steak sando. Maybe some steak fajitas. It can be a meat steak or a plant-based steak, depending on your preference. You could do so many things with that steak. You could do like I don't know any of the sauces that normally go with steak apart from like maybe chimichurri. I feel like that's a steak sauce. Anyways, so Brian decided the best solution was his wife sleeping with another woman. Oh God. Trina says I was trying to work out who you would add to Garrick and Bashir. No, who could add to perfection? Okay, here's the thing. When it comes to pieces of fictional media, there are some situations where like I'm like, this could be a throuple. But then there are some situations where I'm like, no, this is 100% a closed couplet, and nothing good would come of them like attempting to date anyone else, either sort of one of them or both of them. And those two is one of those. They match each other's freak to exactly the right frequency that adding any other variable into that relationship will make it just the bad kind of messy, and people will get sad. On the other hand, the O'Briens were like absolutely like they're yeah. Anyways, it's for anyone who hasn't seen Star Trek Deep Space Nine, I'm sorry. Hey Voxel, how are you doing? Welcome on in. Samantha says that the best Star Trek couple is Picard and Q. And I do think that they're delightful. Wholeheartedly approve. I do. Anyways, how's it going, Voxel? It's lovely to see you. Voxel has apparently assembled a chair. It's Noelle's from Deltarune. Noelle will observe from the chair. Wonderful. Is her chair... Okay. This is so silly. The first thing that I thought when you said I have assembled a chair is I don't remember the terminology for this because it's been a very long time since I was at university. But when you're asked to like think of this object and the image in your mind is like a prototypical version of that object. Like you imagine a house, it's probably like the most bog stand without any other additions to that. It's probably the most bog standard house that you would normally see in your area is what you picture, right? If I'm asked to picture a chair, Voxel said that they assembled a chair, and what is the prototypical chair that appeared in my mind when they said they had assembled a chair? It was the froggy chair from Animal Crossing. Chat, what does that say about me? I don't think that's normal. But given no other information about a chair, my brain went instantly froggy chair from Animal Crossing. Is this normal? I don't know. Anyways, no, for real, says Voxel, I got myself a new chair because my old one sucked a lot. Congratulations on your new chair. That's awesome. I love that for you. A good chair is important. It means to quote, you're old and wrong. Wow, great. Thank you. I mean, you're correct on both counts, so that's fine. Tal says that's very froggy chair of you. Thank you. Anyways. Sammy just really wants the Animal Crossing. Are you kidding? I would love to own the Animal Crossing froggy chair. If there's like a furniture maker out there who is making like real life versions of the froggy chair, I would like one, please. I could, oh man, I have a couple of little, I don't actually know how many centimeters tall they are, but I have a couple of little plushes that I ordered a little while ago that I think are being shipped soon or have been shipped, or I'm going to be receiving them sometime in November, I believe. And I'm gonna need to be making little outfits for them, because they're little peoples. I'm gonna need to be making cute little outfits for them, and I'm like, what if I make them a little froggy chair? What if I make like a couple little froggy chairs so they can sit and they can drink tea and they can and I'm 41. Anyways, Turnip says I don't remember what that chair looked like. I didn't remember what that chair looked like. I need one. Is it not just the most delightful thing you ever did see? It's so good. Ooh, some dude on Reddit did make a real life big enough to use froggy chair, says Voxel. I'm so jealous. That's amazing. That is so stinking cute. I love it. I love it. And I love it some more. That's wonderful. So good. What would happen if Terry the Forg Mage sat in the froggy chair? I feel like there would be... I feel like that would herald some kind of like really significant event in frog kind. That would be like, what if the froggy chair is like a throne for frog peoples? I don't know. But oh, by the way, I think for anyone who was here when my moderator slash Sprouse brought home the Toad Wizard. The Toad Wizard has a name. His name is Craig, and I think my moderator slash spouse actually suggested the name Craig for the Toad Wizard. So I have a Toad Wizard named Craig now, and I've been questioning, does Craig the Toad Wizard fit somewhere into the Terry the Forg Mage lore? Like, are they friends? Are they rivals? I don't know. We have... Craig is a fine name, says Turnip. I think it's a nice name. I do. I think we were talking about... I think my moderator slash spouse had recently been talking about... the fact that North Americans pronounce it Craig, usually, like rhymes with Greg, but it's spelled Craig. So I think it's Craig. Anyways, I think Craig, being a wizard, looks down on the mere mage that is Terry. Oh no! Maybe. Are they friends, but like he's kind of a little snobby, maybe? I don't know. Voxel has spelled it Craig. Yep. K-R-E-G-H. Craig. I know I think there's a... No, I'm not going to say because it's a spoiler. Anyways. Turnip has spelled it C-R-A-Y-A-I-G-H. I'm surprised I haven't seen anyone named Craig that much. In the way D&D wizards look down on sorcerers. Wow, rude. I mean, to be fair, when I played a sorcerer, they were, I think, about 3 feet tall. But still, you know, they were also very cool. Be nice to them. And bards look down on them all. Well, that's just bards for you, innit? Having also played a bard, yeah, they were like that. And Rex has spelled it C-R-E-G, Craig. Yes, that's how you spell Craig. Anyways, I'm not here to tell anyone that your name is spelled or pronounced incorrectly, because that is your name, and whatever it is what it is, and I love and respect you and your beautiful name. Anyways, look, wizards might have gone to school and studies, but bards went to college. And sorcerers just have the innate ability to do stuff, which I think is pretty ding-dang cool of them, actually. I'm not, you know, I'm not saying that because my most long-standing character was the sorcerers are Nepo babies? Hey! Owner the Goblin Sorcerer is not a Nepo baby. They were a blacksmith who apparently just had innate magic they didn't know about until one time they broke their auntie's window by accidentally casting magic missile through it. while trying to demonstrate a new type of tomato knife that they've made for their cousin. Warlocks have sugar daddies! Samantha, you're not wrong. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I have a sometimes character that I play in like one-shots and stuff sometimes who is a warlock, and her patron is... They're dating. It's weird, but they're very happy. Clerics also have sugar daddies, but are in denial about it, and that I will wholeheartedly agree with as well. But yeah, there must definitely be some kind of sugar situation going on with with my warlock and her girlfriend, considering her girlfriend is this, like, you know, ancient and super powerful frog queen, and she's just a lady. She's just a gnome who makes trousers for centaurs, but is now also a warlock. So, you know, there's that. She also... Okay, what is the... Chat, for chat who knows anything about Dungeons and Dragons, what is the opposite of, what is the opposite of min-maxing? Is that just mid-midding? I think that might just be mid-midding, and I ask this because I have a tendency to randomize my stats when I create a new character. I like just going to fast character. If I don't have a specific character in mind, I will just go to Fast Character, the website, which is a great resource if you just want to roll up a character and you're not particular about sort of a lot of the things. You can then sort of fine tune from there any bits that you want to change. But if you're just like, I need a character, bloop, randomize, you know, like, let's say I need a character who's level 5, bloop, randomize, right? It's great. And I've gotten sort of the kernel for characters from that, because I'm like, I don't know what, like, species or class I want to play, so I'm just like, and it'll just be like, do you want to be a half-giant rogue? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Or, do you want to be a dwarf cleric? Okay. It's very useful for that. But on the other hand, I decided that I wanted to be a warlock, so I created a warlock character, and it all the bits for me, and gave me a +0 to charisma. And if you know anything about playing a warlock, having a +0 to charisma is real weird. Because, like, we're supposed to be charisma-based, and here I am being bad at charisma, but the way I see it, you know, it doesn't make sense for my character to be good at things. That's fine. They're just a weird little guy. Their favorite spell is Find Familiar, because they get to summon a frog, you know? Like, it's okay that they're not good at stuff. Their girlfriend still loves them anyways. Rex says the guardian saint of being an old man with a Corvette. Oh my god. Samantha says max minning. There we go. The opposite of min-maxing, says Turnip, is Turnip style of gaming at everything. Throw dice and hope for the best. Hell yeah, I love that. I love that. But yeah, I don't know if this is just because I'm a bad and not particularly detail-oriented D&D player in certain ways, but I really have never paid attention to, like, stats and numbers and which stats should I put more into and what should be my dump stat. The only thing that I've ever... that I consistently look at in terms of my stats is if I have a lot of wisdom, I'm not going to have a lot of intelligence. And if I have a lot of intelligence, I'm going to be low on wisdom, because I think having a lot of wisdom and intelligence just makes it too easy to know stuff. And I much prefer either being the, you know, hey, I ain't read a lot of books, but, like, I'm sensible as a person, and I have a lot of common sense and other types of ways of knowing stuff, or, you know, I have 12 PhDs, but I don't know how to open a Microsoft Excel file. Did you ask me 3 questions in an email? I will respond with, okay. Did you ask me to provide a specific date that you want me to have a meeting with you? I will respond with, yes. That's the two kinds of character. And I find that more fun than just being good at all of the smarts things. Spence says throwing down a bunch of D4s in place of caltrops. I mean, I think that's a good. 'Cause good lord, every time a D4 falls on the floor, I fall into a blind panic. Those things are dangerous. Anyways, I haven't played a TTRPG in a wee while. I'm feeling a little bit rusty, but also, God, I'm so tired. I don't think I have it in me to commit to a regular campaign at this point, because I'm a CB bear. But at some point, I'd love to maybe just hop in on a one-shot with some interesting folks. But I'm also very, how shall I say, I feel like I'm particular about the kinds of groups of people that I would want to play with. Because I know some people are very serious about it, and some people are very rules-based about it, and some people are very vibes-based about it, and some people are there's a member of our crew who's, like, chaotic evil, and we just let them do whatever they want, and it's really annoying. Or, you know, we have a person in our group who will just eat, like, a loud snack with their mic unmuted on the Zoom call. And that's a party I'll never join again. No! Rex says, I am so glad the problems with my workday are more along the lines of, this part got cut in half by accident. Oh, heck! Oh, heck. Samantha says, every time a D4 falls on the floor, a rogue gets a free sneak attack! Yep. I like it. I like it. That's good. Sorry. That was just me trying to fill my lungs with air. I'm going to have a sip of my ginger tea while it's still warmish, because it's still warmish, thankfully. Anyways. Turnip says, I just got back into TTRPGs. I finally found a game. Hell yeah. Love that for you. I'm currently trying to enact one of my favorite aspects of a TTRPG, which is, of course, character creation, by trying to figure out what the plot of this novel I'm trying to write is. Because right now I've got, I don't want to give away too much, but right now I've got, like, a really good sort of thrust that feels like a weird impetus. I have two characters who meet, and one of them, and their reason for meeting makes a lot of sense, but one of them is hiding something important about themselves, which then comes out over the course of their getting to know each other. Is it a romantic comedy? Is it an action-packed adventure? Yes, kind of. Everyone will hate it. Is it silly funny? Probably a little bit, but also parts of it will be pretty serious. Is there also a B-plot with a guy who... The thing I know the most about him is that he has a name that I think is really good, and also he ends up in a romantical entanglement with a character who goes on to, we find out, is, spoilers. I don't want to say because it's a spoiler, but right now I have a good thrust. Sammy writing erotica. This story will likely contain none of that. Because there's a possibility that my parents might read it, and I don't want them to know that I know what adult content is. Even, like, listen, okay, does anyone else have this? Does anyone else have this? Where, like, I am over 40. I've been married for over 10 years. I had been in, you know, like, relationships prior to that at various stages in my 20s. Like, I am very much an adult person who lives independently and is in a committed relationship. I do not want my parents to know that I know about adult stuff. That's... No. No, no. Because then there may come a time when I'm like, if I'm visiting them in Canada and they're watching a movie or something and someone makes reference to something adult rated and they're like, what's that? Because it's like a piece of semi-modern terminology that maybe they're not familiar with because they don't Google this stuff, but I have an AO3 account. Listen, I don't want to find myself in a situation where I'm having to try and explain what that thing is to my parents. So I would really rather they just had no awareness of the fact that I know what those things are. So as far as they're concerned, I am not... My novel is going to have to be very, very T-rated at most. There will be kisses. I will tell you there will be kisses because there's going to be romance. But my parents are not allowed to know that I know about adult content, even though I'm over 40. Anyways, this is why a fandom username is not Turnip the Dial since Turnip. That is so very fair. Turnip also says, good luck. I am at that point with writing a comic too. Maybe we'll both will find plots. I believe in you. You can do that. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You got this, my friend. Also, I'm very excited. I hope I get to read it when it's published. That's so exciting. But, yes, my as you know, my username for most things is just my name, but my AO3 username is not my name. So, and I do have one, obviously. Anywho, but yes, there was, so, back in, early 2014, I believe, I filmed an episode of a show, a Russell T Davies show called Cucumber. That was out around that time. Good show. Nice time. Had a good time filming it. I did not have a large role. I was a person at a bar. Unnamed character at bar. But, I couldn't show, like, the episode to my parents because the bar scene is a conversation between two guys, talking about, mostly about the one guy's, like, I think marriage. Was he married or were they just in a long-term, I don't know. Anyways, let's just, they were having a conversation about the one guy's marriage, and in the conversation about his marriage and specifically like the troubles that he's having in his relationship, they talk about a lot of like very specific sex acts and terms and stuff, and I'm like, no. This is too grown up. This is not family friendly. But yeah. Yes, I was in that. Anyways, just in case there's any avoidance of doubt, this is an adult stream for grown-ups. Anywho, but yeah, I was like, I can't show my family this, because they'd want to watch it with me because I'm in it, and no, I'd just be like squirmingly uncomfortable the entire time because I don't want, no. No. I didn't know what the scene was about before I filmed it. Also, the bar where that scene was filmed is in Manchester, and it's quite a cool location, and most of the time this is not an issue if you're there when like the music is loud and it's the nighttime, but we were filming during the daytime with no music because they add that in post, and the number of times, like every few minutes, we would have to stop and wait because the bar was situated under the train tracks quite close to Manchester's Oxford Road station. And it's a very busy station that a lot of commuter trains run on. So, like, every few minutes, there would just be, like, the loudest train passing directly above the ceiling noises, and we'd have to stop, wait for the train to pass, and then start another take. It was so annoying. Oh my god. I swear, the scene would have been done in, like, half the time if they had found a location that wasn't directly under railway tracks. I think they managed to get it without having to ADR in the dialogue or anything, at least. But, yeah. Anywho, so that's that. Wow, okay, we've been going for an hour and I haven't painted anything. Oh no. Oh no. I think I started this stream tired and now I just have the giggles. So, sorry about that. But we are coasting into a BRB, so I suddenly have the impetus to put some color on my palette. Very belatedly. Hurrah. But I'm going to start with the background trees, I think. I don't know why that feels like the most sensible starting point, but it does, because I'm silly. Anyways, Turnip is lurking. Have a lovely, lovely lurk. Thank you very much for the lurk and getting some coding done. Good luck with your code. And to everyone else, I will be back in just a minute. You ain't going to miss anything. You get to look at the BRB screen, and you might get some ads. I apologize for that. But yeah, I'll be back very shortly. Preamble's what makes the art happen, probably, says Samantha. Well, I managed to mix together parts of a color, so we'll paint when we get back. We can keep talking, obviously, but enjoy the BRB screen in the meantime. I'll be back very shortly. Have a little dance if you want to. Have a stretch, have a drink, all that jazz. I will see you in just a minute. BRB. Alright, hello, I'm back. Hi, hi, hi. Sorry for being away, but so it goes. Anywho, I like the word preamble. I don't know if I'm using it correctly, but it just sounds like the ramble that happens before you do stuff. I don't know. Anyways. It sounds like... It sounds like it should be a ramble that happens before the thing you're supposed to be doing. Anyways, I am picking up some yellow because I want this to be a little greenish. Because we're making some tree shapes. Oh no, that's too green. That's too yellow. That's so yellow now. It wants to be just a little bit yellow. So I'm going to pick up some more of this very, very dark blue. Because it is the nighttime, so I want this to be relatively dark, I reckon. Should be the goal. Okay. That's just kind of made like a gray-ish. But to be honest, that's probably all right, because we don't want it to be a super bright green, because these trees are not going to be as illuminated. These guys are going to be illuminated by this fire down here. But the trees, probably not so much. So you can probably get away with those being quite sort of dark and honestly kind of sludgy. That's fine. This is fine. It's fine. This is fine. It's fine. So I'm just separating out a blob here. And then, I guess, I start adding some tree shapes. And for that I'm just going to make some lines. And then we'll put tree gubbins onto them. Anywho's, hope y'all had a good break while I was, elsewhere. Starting out by manufacturing some simple basic tree shapes, obviously. And making sure that I don't accidentally cover up our gnome husband's little hat. Oh, because his hat does not want to be the same color as tree. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna take another sip of one of my teas. I finished my coffee, so I now have a mint tea. Hooray! It's already tepid, but that's fine. So is my, I would guess, lemon ginger. Which I would say is also the yummiest of the two. Anyways, but yeah. Cool. Let's continue on getting nice and tree-esque. I'm gonna try and do some, like, I'm gonna get some trees in, like, behind these trees so that it feels like there's a meaningful depth to the woods. So I'll start with this, these trees that are nearest to our gnome husbands, and then continue on from there. Not coloring in our little gnome's hair. Because that's for later. Okay. Ooh, getting some nice, just a tiny bit of granulation, I think, happening with this paint, which is hopefully going to look fun. I want to let these dry just a little bit before I do the one in the middle, because I don't want it to super bleed into each other. But I don't want to wait too long, because I've got this paint now, so I kind of want to use it up. But that's, oh man, that's so wet. No. Okay, I'm gonna take a minute. We might not finish this painting today. Oh no. How many times do I say that? I feel like that's more often than not. Oh, by the way, we did finish the piece that we started on Monday. I finished it on Tuesday in case anyone's curious and wants to know what it looks like and hasn't seen it yet. Because I'm terrible at remembering to show the Discord when I finish stuff. Though I do have a Discord, by the way, if you're not in it and you want to join. Here's a link. It's a quiet place, but we have fun there. And additionally, here's what the finished piece looks like. Yay! It's a crowberry crow. I did have a lot of fun painting this little guy. All the nice little textures and what have yous. It was a good time. It was a good bird. A very good little bird. Anyways, but that is the crowberry crow. Now you know. I hope you like it. Anywho. Oh no, I've got hiccups. Oh no. Okay, I think they're done. I think they're over. Thank goodness. I'm gonna sip my beverage again. Anywho, Alright. So as you may know, I've had a bit of a health-related saga over the last little bit, related to this one tooth that is proving to be just an absolute pain. Literally a pain in my tooth, and also a pain with regard to trying to get it sorted, like, with the dentist's office. In as much as they canceled they deleted my appointment the first time, and then they had to cancel and reschedule. And then that was only the first half of the procedure. And now the second half of the procedure was supposed to be this past Tuesday, and they rang on Monday afternoon to say, we need to cancel and reschedule your appointment. It's the third one. Third reschedule. Anyways, and then this morning I was literally, like, I was literally using some mouthwash. Because I use mouthwash, because it's good for your oral health to use mouthwash. So I was gently swishing some mouthwash, and a chunk of temporary filling fell out of my tooth. I'm not getting this looked at until Monday now. I am not a happy camper. Thankfully. Ooh! In 8 minutes I can take ibuprofen. Again. So, in 8 minutes I will be taking ibuprofen. Yay! So that's fun stuff. Yeah, so, I'm really, I've honestly, like, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice, because I realize this is no one's fault, nothing, you know, like, it is what it is. These things, I guess, apparently happen. But it's been scary and unpleasant, and generally not a great time for yours truly. But that's what I've been dealing with. Yeah. I also, it's not clear to me. So I've had one part of a procedure done, and then I have to have a second part of the same procedure done. I don't actually know whether the procedure as a whole just costs the amount of money that I paid the first time I went in, or I have to pay per visit, and I have to pay for it again next time. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. No one has, like, informed me of, like, what, and I don't want to ask, because asking about money feels bad for some reason. um, but yeah, I don't love that for me. Anyways, I have a shop. But in all seriousness, yeah, it's been a slightly stressful time. So if I seem like I've been stressed of late, that's a big part of why, if I'm being honest. And you know, like, it's fine. I'm fine. But it's definitely having this thing that means I'm also having to be really careful about what I eat, and generally, you know, I've got pouches of, like, pureed fruit baby food in the house because it feels like a relatively safe food for my face. Um I've just realized that this is purple and not brown that I've just put my brush into. I do not want a dark purple. I wanted a brown, so now it's just going to be a purplish brown, I guess. That'll do. I think if it's the same as Scotland, NHS dentists charge for overall job needing done, not per appointment. Hopefully it's the same for you. Oh, thank you for letting me know, Turnip. That is a relief. Oh my word. I was concerned, but I think that feels correct. It feels like it should be correct. I hope that's correct. And thank you for letting me know. I do appreciate it. Anyways, this background is just going to be kind of purplish brown now, because why not? Honestly, this is a really pretty color. Like, that'll do quite nicely. Anyways, but yeah. And when the thing that I'm waiting to get done on Monday, that's not even the end of it for me. That's not even the end of it for me. Because I need more work done after that. And I just want this to end so that I can, you know, eat crisps and not feel scared. That's really what I'm looking forward to at this point. So anyways, if I seem stressed at any point, it's probably because that's simmering in the back of my mind and also in the side of my mouth. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend it. It sucks. Anyways. But it's fine, I'm fine. It's fine. Okay, I want to kind of fade this into a somewhat warmer brown, I think, if I can. Well, that hasn't quite worked, but never mind. Anyways, that'll do. I didn't really have like a mega concrete plan when I started this piece, so I am somewhat kind of improvising. I think that's all right. I think that's fun. I think that's fine and fun. But yes. I did before things went all wrong again this morning. I had intended to actually try and eat some semi-solid food for dinner tonight, which I'm still gonna do. I'm just gonna feel concern about it the entire time. But namely, we got some groceries delivered today, and I was like, you know what I haven't had in a really, really long time is trout. I want to have some trout. So we got some nice Scottish trout, and we're gonna steam it and have it with probably just some potatoes and peas, as you do. But I'm looking forward to that. Sometimes I do like a meal of just like really simple ingredients but prepared really really well. I think can be nice. You know, I wouldn't say it's bland. It's prepared with care and love and all that good stuff. And it makes it delicious. Haggis trout, says Rex. You know, I've never had haggis. I've never had haggis. And the reason for this is they do make a veggie version, which I have seen. And every time I see it, I'm like, you know, I'd like to try it. I'd like to see what the veggie haggis is like. And then I look at the ingredients and I realize they put mushroom in it. There's mushroom in the veggie haggis that you can get here, so I can't eat it because I'm allergic to mushrooms. But otherwise, I super would. Because I'm sure it's lovely. And I've never had meat haggis because I don't eat meat. Sad. But anyways. Apparently the floor of my paint water left a bit of a puddle, so I wanted to get rid of that before it caused me any problems. Anyways, we've got some colors on the canvas now, and I'm so happy about that. Hooray! Gonna add some increasingly darkening trees if I can. Hopefully this will work. I just want to kind of establish the idea that there's some trees behind these trees. That the forest has, you know, an amount of depth to it. I'll probably add some additional, like, texture to the foregroundy trees. That you don't see so much as we move backwards into the woods. I also don't want these to take up too much space in the piece, because I do want there to be some night sky up here as well. That's important to me. A little bit of nice night sky I think would look really cute. But also, you know, backgroundy trees, good stuff. Hopefully good stuff. Okay. I think these are not so wet that they'll like bleed too much, so I think I can do. Oh, now I wish this paint was a little bit stronger than it is. So maybe I'll add a little bit more of this like deep dark blue to it. Give it a little bit more of that depth if I can. Pick up some paint. Come on, you know you want to do it. Get a little bit more intense. Anyways, if anyone in the chat has had vegetarian haggis and can report back on what it's like, feel free to sound off in the chat, because I'm genuinely very curious about it. Having not the ability to partake, but the wish that I could, shall I say. I believe I shall. Okay. Alright. I'm trying not to... Normally I would paint like the background trees before the foreground trees, because normally I'm dealing with it's not the middle of the night in this piece, and therefore I want the ones in the foreground to actually be darker, but it's the nighttime, so things I feel like would be getting less detailed, less perceptible, and more dark the further we move back into the woods. And so I would like to attempt to do it thusly. I mean, right now they just look kind of subtle and weird. I don't know. Is this gonna end up looking good? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's doing something. I think it's doing something fun. I hope it's doing something fun. I will add some like surface detail to the trees in the foreground so they look a little bit more less like just kind of gradient blobs. Tal says I've had haggis, but once and quite a while ago it was a food. Other details have faded. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm glad to hear that it was food. Turnip says, can't remember if I've had veggie haggis, but normal haggis is like well done, well seasoned mince, I guess. I really enjoy it. Yeah, it sounds like very comforting. It sounds very comforting food. I mean, that's more or less what it is. It's like, it's kind of like a big sausage kind of situation. And then it's just the seasoned stuff that gets cooked in that, which delightful. Anyways, it's something that I feel like historically North Americans have been like, "Oh, that sounds weird," and it's like, that's fine. It's not any weirder than like a sausage, y'all. Chill. And I say this as someone who isn't like a meat eater. I am not an enjoyer of like meat foods, and yet I'm not like, it's just a meat food. It's fine. It's fine. Are you okay? Like, are you okay? Anyways, I have to remember how to paint fire, which is fun for me. Yay. What do flames look like? Am I gonna have to look at a picture of a bonfire and be like, what colors are you actually? Probably. I maybe am. Oh no. Anyways, I'm just gonna do that. Bonfire. Yay. Bonfire night's coming up. In a few weeks. It's after Halloween, so I haven't given it any thought whatsoever. I never do. It's not something that I grew up with, and we don't really do anything for it. I think my moderator / spouse likes to have a jacket potato for bonfire night, because they used to go out and watch like the fireworks, and they'd stick a jacket potato in the oven before they went out, and by the time they got back it would be like all nice and cooked and delicious. And they'd have it with, I don't know, like baked beans and cheese and whatever. Anyways, Turnip says, true story, I learned what was in haggis from the Earthworm Jin cartoon, where haggis was threatened torture by the villain. I'm a great Scottish person. I mean, I feel like maybe it's like a lot of traditional foods aren't necessarily as ubiquitous in every household as like people think that they are. Like when I think like what's a traditional Canadian food? I probably didn't grow up eating it that much. Like how often craft dinner. How often did I have craft dinner growing up? Not really. Not a lot. Very rarely, and I'd probably have to beg my parents for it. Because my mom would be like, I could just bake you, like, pasta. And it's like, not the same, Mom. Anyways, Turnip says, I meant to be doing stuff back to you, and I had to fly the banner for haggis. Thank you very much for the haggis banner. We appreciate it. Pretzels. Oh, heck. Okay. Sorry. I never ate crafting supplies for dinner, says Rex. Okay, so for anyone who's not Canadian, craft dinner is a specific type of boxed mac and cheese, which is ubiquitous in Canada and delicious. It's also a very cheap dinner historically. I don't think it's nearly as cheap as it was back in the day. Like, I remember it would be like 50 cents for a box of craft dinner. Or KD for short. But, I was very distressed to learn that, okay, so because of my body being, you know, my immune system is confused. I can't have wheat anymore, which means I can't eat regular Kraft Dinner. But I was very delighted to learn that they do have gluten-free Kraft Dinner. But unfortunately, the gluten-free okay, so here's the thing. I learned this a few years ago. Kraft Dinner is also available in the United States as like boxed Kraft mac and cheese, but the American mac and cheese sauce is garbage. It's disgusting. And it's disgusting because it's not made with real Canadian cheddar. It's made with, like, milk powder and then, like, some semblances of cheese-ish flavoring. Like, it's not... The first ingredient of the Canadian cheese sauce is just cheese, and it's delicious. The American one, nasty, disgusting, would not eat. I can understand why Americans who've had, like, American Kraft boxed mac and cheese are like, why do you love this so much, Canada? And it's because it is an incredibly superior product. If you look at the ingredients list of the cheese sauces, you can see how different they are. And there are differences. There's all this other stuff that's added to the American sauce that's not in the Canadian sauce, and the American sauce doesn't have the just cheese that the Canadian one does. And to my dismay, I found that yes, you can get gluten-free Kraft Dinner mac and cheese stuff in Canada, but the cheese sauce is not the regular Canadian KD cheese sauce. It has all the weird stuff that the American sauce has. Any mac and cheese with powdered cheese is nasty. Rex, have you ever had Canadian Kraft Dinner? Because I swear to you, the difference is like night and day. You have something that has that nasty, like, fake feeling cheesy taste to something that's actually delicious. And I say this as someone who's very picky about, like, cheesy product. Just, if you haven't, if you are able to at some point, I recommend just trying it and tasting the difference. If you don't, you're just gonna have to trust me on this, because I do not take cheesy sauce stuff lightly. I once bought a, like, pot of pre-made cheese sauce from the supermarket and was like, no. This has that horrible cheesy flavor instead of just, like, a bechamel sauce that I would make at home and add cheese to. It was bad. And that was, like, an actual just sauce. My brand of choice for mac and cheese is Velveeta. Really? I've always been extremely wary of Velveeta. There's something that feels unnatural to me about it. I know it's like the idea of it is that I think it's like made for being like melting and being gooey. It's like it's in a similar vein to like Cheese Whiz, which was very popular when I was a youngin'. At least it was very highly advertised when I was a youngin'. I can still remember the adverts for it and the little song about how Cheese Whiz adds personality. It's to add personality to your food by covering it in cheese, and I mean, fair. And they did advertise that it was made with real Canadian cheddar too. I am not sponsored by Cheese Whiz. My mother did not buy Cheese Whiz. We were not a Cheese Whiz family. We were not a Velveeta family. She bought Cool Whip one time. That was a wild ride. We ate a reasonable amount of, I would say, like, Hungarian and Hungarian-ish food, growing up. And other stuff. But we definitely ate a lot of Hungarian and Hungarian-ish food, but we were not a big, like, we were not a Cheese Whiz family. We were not a Velveeta family. We were not a Cool Whip family. We were not a snack family, to my dismay, as a person who needs to snack in order to live. You know, I'm starving. Dinner's ready in 45 minutes. No, but I'm snack hungry right now. I need a snack. You'll spoil your appetite for dinner. Okay, but I'm hungry right now. Yay! And I understand, like, the impetus and the good intentions behind that, but oh man, does that, no. Please let me eat food. Anyways, it's basically nacho cheese in the shells and cheese box. They're blocks of the low melt cheese, or what my mom used for stuff like enchiladas. Yeah, there's, what is it? I think, is it one of the cheeses that has like sodium citrate added to it, which gives it like real sort of like, it helps it, I think it's an emulsifier, so it helps it stay like really creamy when it melts, and it melts at relatively low temperatures, so it's really like gooey, and you don't get the fat in the cheese separating out from like the milk solids and getting like a grainy texture. And I do find that sometimes when I make cheese sauces myself at home for something like mac and cheese or cauliflower cheese, which I don't do very often because it's not the healthiest of meals. I know this. But every once in a while, like I made mac and cheese actually, I think like last week, because I was like, I want something that is safe for my bad tooth, but that isn't a damn soup, so I'm gonna make mac and cheese. So I made mac and cheese for dinner, but because I just used like regular mature cheddar in my sauce, it did get a little bit of that sort of like slightly grainy texture instead of just being like super gooey, which is what the sodium citrate gives it. It holds it in emulsion, basically. I think, which allows it to sort of melt and be really like creamy and stuff. It's the same substance that they put in like the prepackaged cheese that comes in like the squares, like the slices. I think in the States there's like American cheese, and it comes in like pre-sliced squares. So you can get it in blocks as well. Like Kraft singles, that kind of thing. It has this added to it, which is what gives it that very like plastic cheese, says Samantha. Yeah, exactly. It is cheese. It is very much cheese, and you want to make sure that, you know, the brand that you're buying says that it's cheese, because some of them are processed cheese like food. If it says it's a cheese food, that ain't cheese. You gotta look for the ones that are actually made with, like, you know, milk and milk fat and not, like, random oils added to them, because those are disgusting. I'm not a big fan, except in, if I want a nostalgic grilled cheese sandwich that's made with, like, a Kraft Singles type slice with white bread, grilled with butter, and served with a can of tomato soup. Heinz cream of tomato soup. Processed food adjacent substance. Yeah. I don't think I've ever actually had specifically American cheese. I don't think I've ever specifically had American cheese, to my memory. So, I cannot comment on what it's like. But under normal circumstances, I have zero interest in eating like a Kraft single slice. Only in the context of I'm specifically very nostalgic for a specific grilled cheese sandwich that was never even made at home. When we had grilled cheese sandwiches at home, we would use the nice whole wheat bread that my mom got from the supermarché, and she had to really hunt around for it because they all had sugar added, and she didn't want sugar added to her loaves. And she wanted to find the 100% whole wheat bread. 100% whole wheat bread, butter on either side, and like a medium cheddar, actual cheddar, or maybe marble if we're feeling fancy, inside. And no tomato soup. Anyways. That's because you like yourself too much to subject yourself to American cheese, says Samantha. Well, to be fair, it's not available for purchase anywhere I've ever lived, because I've never lived in America. I did almost move to New York City once, but that fell through because it was too expensive to do a degree there. We got cheddar Colby from the deli counter, says Rex. Yum. I have some cheddar. I have a little bit of this cheese. It's called Silver Fox, and it's smoked, and it's very mature. You can tell it's very mature because the name of the cheese is Silver Fox, which is why I bought it. Because I'm like, okay, that's hot. Anyway, that's because non-American countries have standards for what can be sold as food, says Samantha. You know, I've had some experiences of when you're traveling long distances and the only food options available to you are a vending machine, in America, you are slightly taking your life in your hands. Because I ate some stuff on some trips that I would not... I think the worst offender of this at all ever was the time I was like, I just want a normal beverage. I just want a normal beverage. So I'm going to go to this vending machine that is vending beverages, and I'm going to select apple juice. You can't screw up apple juice. You can't put it, like, it's just the juice out of an apple, right? I'm going to expect that this is going to be nice and normal and delicious. And the apple juice ingredients: sugar, apple juice from concentrate, water, natural and artificial flavors. It tasted like an apple Jolly Rancher. What the flip? You didn't have to do that. You could have just sold a bottle of the juice that comes from squeezing an apple in a juice press. Why would you do this? Anyways, Rex says, we have some standards. Fast food burgers must be at least 60% beef to be called beef. You know what? I do appreciate that. That's a standard. That was the thing. Actually, you know, one of the other big like food culture shocks that I had when I first visited America. So the first time I visited America, I hadn't become vegetarian yet, so I was still eating like meat foods. And for safety and also for it's one of the cheapest meals on the menu, I'm like, I'm going to get the burger at this Applebee's. When I was visiting, I was 18 years old and effectively chaperoning my friend who was visiting her boyfriend who was at college, and she wasn't allowed to go by herself to visit him because she still lived with her parents. Anyways, so we were all out at Applebee's. And I ordered the burgo. And the waiter's like, and how do you want that cooked? And I'm just like, however you cook burgers? I don't know. Anyways, that was the first time I'd ever encountered someone at like a restaurant asking me how I want my beef mince cooked in terms of like rareness. And now I was aware enough of what like food safety standards and recommendations were like in Canada that my belief was always that you want your beef mince to be brown, not pink when you serve it. So I was like, well done, I guess. So I had a brown burger. Because the whole thing is, you can have a rare steak. Okay, so from a food safety perspective, a rare steak. So the steak, you know, the thing, it has the surface area of the steak is the outside of this large slab of meat, right? That's where it might come into contact with like some bacteria, pathogens, that kind of thing. The stuff that you want to cook off. It's not really able to like penetrate far into the meat necessarily if it's, you know, like been stored safely, yada, yada, yada. So you can safely give it like a sear on the outside and have the middle be, you know, relatively less cooked and not be concerned that it's going to make you sick. Beef mince, which has been ground up into teeny tiny little pieces, are just like, every one of those little pieces is a tiny little piece with its own surface area. There's so much more surface area in beef mince. So any of those little surface areas might be harboring some pathogens that are going to be cooked off if you brown them. Which means if you have a burger where the outside of the burger is brown and the inside of the burger is pink, you may be taking your health in your hands significantly more than eating a raw steak. Or a rare steak, rather. You know what I mean. Anyways. It's like, do you want to get the shits or have to go to the hospital? Or do you want a brown hamburger? Anyways. Let me catch up with chat. You also cannot have ground beef rare. Exactly. That's what I always believed until I went to America when I was 18 and they asked me if I wanted to have a rare burger. And I was like, what? Samantha says it's not like a steak where the insides don't need to be fully cooked because it's never exposed to pathogens. Exactly. She has explained it much more succinctly than I just did. Sorry. Ground beef should be well done, but eating uncooked meat is manly, says Rex. Masculinity's so fragile, you're gonna give yourself a freaking E. coli infection. Like, why? Why would you want that? Eating rare steak is very womanly, actually. Samantha, I wholeheartedly agree. I didn't regularly like eating beef meat when I was a consumer of meat foods, but I did. If I was to have a steak, I would have it medium, I think. But it's not something I would ever order at a restaurant. I would, if my family was barbecuing or something, and someone had bought steaks, I was like, okay. But I think I grew up thinking that I wasn't a big fan of beef meat because when my grandma, I love my grandma, she was a wonderful, wonderful lady, but man, she cooked her roast beefs until they were so gray. Just the grayest of roast beef. I feel like that's a generational thing, probably. But her roast beefs were so very gray. And that was not pleasant. Personally, I would eat mostly the mashed potatoes and the vegetables and the accoutrements at such dinners. Anyways, Rex says, oh, chat is moving forward. I can't see. Rex says a real man won't get E. coli because they'll probably have a heart attack first. Oh God. Oh God. You know, I'm trying to keep my cholesterol in check these days, but also I can't really eat a lot of solid foods at the moment. So in the interest of trying to get calories into my body, I've just been like gumming on chocolate, which has been really nice. But also, I'm aware of the fact that having chocolate every day is probably not the healthiest. Yeah, chocolate antioxidants, blah blah blah. But I'm not talking like eating large amounts of like super dark chocolate. I'm talking about eating like a handful of the little mini Wispa pieces that you can get in a quote unquote sharing bag. Yeah, right. It's very Cadbury's milk chocolate. Anyways, Samantha says I would have steak rare whenever I had it. I generally avoid beef these days because it has a much bigger environmental impact than say chickens or pigs. Fair enough. That's very mindful of you. Roast beef cooked until it's falling apart is delicious, though, says Cursed Jar of Bees. If it's done in a that sort of deliberate way, for sure. Grandma's roast beef was just kind of gray. You know, of that era of like white people cooking where seasoning is minimal. She grew up in the Depression. And to be fair, her baked goods are legendary. I know I'll never be able to make a butter tart quite as amazing as her butter tarts, but I aim to try and get close to it if I can. She makes the best butter tarts ever made in the entire history of the universe, and sadly that recipe went with her to, you know, heaven, so... Samantha says, ruminants, they are like tiny little fossil fuel power stations. They're also adorable. Look at her. Is she not the prettiest, the loveliest, and just the best girl you ever did see? Yes, she is. She lives on my desk, so I can look at her and just be like, oh, that's my girl. I love her so much. She's so stinking cute. I'm giving her little scritches right now. And I think... Oh, she's happy about it. Okay, anyway. I also grew up depressed, Samantha. Mood! I am proud to be a less masculine man, says Rex. Hell yeah, I love that for you. Chocolate is a fruit, says Samantha. I mean, you're right. You're correct. I'm a better cook than baker, says Chris Jarvis. I think it tends to be one way or the other. I feel like I'm competent at both. I mean, I've written 2 baking books. I would shout them out here, but they're illustrated and the art is so old now that I'm shy about it. Okay, I'm trying to fling a sky full of stars onto this section of the paper, but I think it's all just sticking to my fingy. Anyways, I can feed myself and follow a baking recipe. Hell yeah. I feel like my baking skills have not decreased, but I'm just presented with, like, additional challenge in a way that's really quite frustrating. Since, at almost a year ago, I had to stop eating wheat. Has really detrimentally impacted my ability to bake things that I feel, like, proud of. I'm trying to figure out ways. For instance, like, I made cinnamon buns a little while ago for Cinnamon Bun Day, which was on October the 4th. And I was hoping that they would turn out, that I would get, like, a relatively pleasant yeast dough situation. They were really nice warm, but had more of the texture of what I would describe as, like, a yeasted scone to them. And like I say, they were nice, but they didn't have that, like, soft, pillowy texture that I want from, like, a cinnamon bun, like, yeast dough. And that was really, that felt really sad. So I am attempting to figure out how best to, okay, we're definitely getting some stars on here, but a lot of it is just kind of getting flung onto my fingertip. Please put stars in the sky. Okay, there's a couple, but I would like some more. Sammy's become Coyote, putting the stars haphazardly in the sky. Anyways, so there are a few, like, hacks, hints, tips, tricks, what have you, for gluten-free baking. One of them is xanthan gum. You add xanthan gum to effectively, like, add stability and structure to your baked goods that you're not getting from gluten as you normally would. I'm finding solace in baked goods that don't want to be as gluten-y normally, like brownies, cakes, that kind of thing seem to turn out fine. Like, I made birthday cakes for my spouse and I this year, and they were both delicious. So that's all fine. But I just made a random cake, actually, a couple months ago, just because I felt like making cake, and it was delicious. It's absolutely lovely. It was an interesting recipe, because it called for putting, like, cooked polenta into the batter. It actually worked out really nicely. Okay, that looks like a reasonable amount of stars, I think. I don't want there to be too many stars, but this is, out in the woods, so I feel like there should be stars in the sky. Anyways. Yeah, that ought to do it. Okay, cool. Are your books about gluten-free baking? Asked Kirk Jarvis. Sadly, I only had to begin cooking gluten-freeness about just under a year ago, and my books were written in, like, 2018, 2019. So no, they're about gluten halving baking, but I will say, having done some of the recipes with, like, GF flours and stuff, they are pretty adaptable. But yeah, they are in my shop. But I don't publicize them very much because they're from like 2018, 2019 time is around the time, I think around when I like drew and developed the recipes and stuff. So the art is really old and I'm embarrassed. But yeah, I'm still working on getting yeasted doughs right. And one of the things that I have noticed is I'm looking at like recipes from people online. I see like, you know, use xanthan gum. Yeah, of course. Use psyllium fiber as well to help give it like the whatever it needs. But there's also, I was like, okay, but I use xanthan gum and psyllium fiber in my bake, and it is bad. So, I started looking at the ingredients list of, like, what I would consider to be good gluten-free, baked goods that are available commercially. And I've come across the ones that are available here in the UK seem to use an ingredient called, and I've looked this up so I can read it out because it's long, hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose as an additive. And turns out it costs about £8 to buy a 250 gram bag of it, and in any given like bread recipe you'll need like 10 grams. So I'm thinking of just buying a bag of hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose and seeing whether or not it gives a more favorable result to my breads and stuff. But that is so specialized and honestly kind of hard to get a hold of that I don't know if I can recommend it. Like in recipes and stuff, because like, you're gonna have to find a specialist website that will sell you 25 times more than you need for this recipe. And, you know, I might do all that and it might still not work. There's like basically one brand of gluten-free all-purpose flour that's available here. And I honestly don't think it is the best choice for breads. So I'm tempted to start looking at like buying specific separate flours like teff flour and millet flour and corn flour and combining them together myself, which is hydrochloric petroleum, says Rex. No, this is the other problem. There are a lot of other words that have very similar sounding names that are not the thing that you want. It's hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. Anyways, GF flour sounds like a mystery novelist. Oh my god, it is. That's such a good name, Samantha. Oh my god, you're right. That's amazing. I love it. Kirsten B says, my mother has a girlfriend and I think she might be the one. Oh, and she's gluten-free, so obviously I need to learn to cook for her. That is so stinking cute. If I have one massive suggestion, it is that gluten-free pasta behaves almost exactly the same as regular pasta. It's super easy. It does have a slightly greater tendency to fall apart. But honestly, I find it super easy to work with, and all of my pasta meals are delicious. So, that's a good starting point, and it's real good. Also, soy sauce. Make sure you get the GF soy sauce, because regular soy sauce has wheat in it. Yay! Anyways, that's basically because every hydrocarbon chain has a name like that in the chemistry world, says Rex. Basically, yeah. So, when you're looking at something that starts with hydroxy, and you want a specific one, remember the BBC, please be careful. Anywho, we're going into an ad break, apparently. Once the ad break is done, then I can paint in the sky. Am I procrastinating on painting the little guys and the fire and stuff? Because that's going to be the hardest part to do. No-ish. Anyways, my lung capacity is having a fun time, but I'm having a fun time painting for y'all, and I I was just fidgeting with a small piece of Lego and now it's fallen onto the floor. Great. I will find it when I step on it, probably. Samantha says, the BBC, Blees Broadcast Company. Yes, exactly. Anyways, we'll continue this weird little bookmark in just a minute, but I have to be right back because Twitch makes me run ads. I'm sorry if you see ads. I can't do anything about that, but you're not going to miss anything because we're going to be taking a break. So have a drink, have a stretch. If you need to take your medication, you should do that. I'm going to go take some ibuprofen, and I will be back very, very shortly. BRB, everyone. Hello, friends, I'm back. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for sticking around. We're back again. Hello. I've just taken 2 ibuprofens, yay, so hopefully my tooth will survive eating some soft potatoes and peas for dinner. Anyways, Kirstar V says, waiting for it to dry is legit for watercolor. You don't want them blending into the background. Exactly, I do not. While I was on break, I took to looking at my phone for a minute, and I saw a Tumblr thread that was a collection of what people consider to be the worst Funko Pops. Do you remember Funko Pops? Those, like, sometimes bobbleheads, sometimes just regular, like, plastic figurines that had, like, big heads and very stylized faces with big black circles for eyes. I can see a few of them in the room right now. There is specifically the Tom Baker Doctor and the William Hartnell Doctor Who. I don't know why we have those 2 specific Doctors Who, but, like, I like them. Anyways. But, yeah, some people finding the worst ones, and this one is, this hurts my soul, y'all, but I need you to see it, because I had to see it, and, this is Mrs. Potts and her son Chip from Beauty and the Beast. This is horrifying, and I hate it. This is so bad. You know, in general, I would say that the worst genre of Funko Pop figure is a pretty close run race between, like, very stylized cartoon characters that will not translate well into this style, but also, like, figures based on characters who don't really have a lot in the way of defining physical characteristics. Like, when you have a character that is just gonna look like it's like a white man with short brown hair wearing, like, a gray suit or a t-shirt and jeans or something. And it's like, in no universe is this recognizable as a character. This could be, like, any generic white man. Any of them. This means nothing. There was a YouTube channel that did a couple of instances of basically a little, like, mini game where one of them just found a bunch of pictures of Funko Pops that were incredibly difficult to identify because they were so freaking generic looking, and then just had someone guess who they thought it was a Funko Pop of, because it was impossible, you know? It's like, here is a Funko Pop of, I don't know, I'm trying to think of, like, just an extremely, a Funko Pop of, like, Jeff from Community. That just looks like a white guy, like, average American white man. It means nothing. That is an abomination, says Samantha. Not even Cthulhu would look that horrifying. Genuinely, it's so creepy. I hate it. I hate it so much. Another contender, and I'm sorry that you have to look at this as well. I kind of feel like Mrs. Potts is worse, but also, I don't know, because this is just prepare yourself. Are you prepared to receive information that you might find distressing? Viewer discretion is advised before I show you this. So consider yourself warned. Look away if you need to, and I'll tell you when it's back off the screen, okay? Alright, let's go. This is supposed to be Donkey from Shrek. What it is the stuff of nightmares. Why would you do that to him? He was a good boy. I hate it so much. It's so bad. Anyways, there was that period where we were all sort of even in our Funko Pop era, and I feel like they just, like, I don't know, they crossed the threshold of, like, over availability. Like, they're kind of, it, it's like, oh, look, there's a little, a fun stylized figurine of this character that I like, which was fun for a while, and then it turned into every single character that has ever existed in real life, including actual historical figures, as well as cartoon characters and things off of that Marvel movie you liked, has been turned into one of these stupid, big-eyed figurines. This isn't fun anymore. They tried too hard to become the next Beanie Baby craze and people didn't bite, says Rex. Yeah. I think they also started to get too expensive, honestly. Chia Pet did the same thing on a smaller scale. Oh, Cursed Jar of Bees. I saw a YouTube video, like, 2 days ago that was a Chia... And this I honestly think is kind of amazing. It was a Chia Pet based on Sophia Petrillo from The Golden Girls. Now, where this succeeded was that the bust of Sophia made out of the material that the chia plant grows onto did actually look kind of like Sophia from The Golden Girls. So that, that's just kind of fun. Because then her hair grows, and presumably you can trim it, and I don't know, can you eat the chia sprouts, or is it just a plant that you look at? Because you can eat chia seeds. I've eaten chia seeds. I eat chia seeds all the time. But I don't, like, do you eat the sprouts? Or is it just for decoration? If anyone knows, let me know. Because they seem to be really easy to grow. So maybe I should start sprouting my own chia seeds and putting them in sandwiches and stuff. But yeah, Chia Pet still exists, says Rex. I was so surprised to learn this like a month ago. I think that's amazing. I mean... It's a pretty easy to maintain plant, I guess. My favorite chia is the Homer Simpson disappearing into a hedge! Yes! That's so good! I love it! That's amazing! That's so good. But yeah, I think anything that aims to become a craze, danger, 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 too much danger, very danger. I don't like it, and it is danger. But, yes, I'm just, this is my very nice dark blue. I guess, what's the most recent craze? Is it Labubu, or has something supplanted Labubu yet? Because I feel like Labubu was stupidly, and the thing is, I didn't hate the design of Labubu. I think they could be kind of cute, but, like... It's because there was, like, like, Labubu has this whole, like, lottery system. When I was visiting, Amsterdam, it was, like, peak Labubu craze. There was a Pop Mart in central Amsterdam, and we went past it the day that we, made a brief visit to, like, the main sort of commercial shopping district. And oh my god, the queue was like way down the road. Like, so many people queuing up for Labubu. And to get into Pop Mart and get one and just, I guess, hope that it's the shiny one or whatever. I honestly think if you're gonna invest in any kind of like blind box stuff like Labubus or whatever, you have to be willing to just be happy with whichever one you get. If there is any single unit of that range that is available that you do not want, don't buy any of them. Because inevitably, there's too high of a chance that the specific one that you're not interested in is what you're going to end up getting. And then you're going to be like, oh no, I need to get another one because the one that I got sucks and I want any one of the other ones, and then you'll get a second one of that one, and you just wasted so much money. The color that I'm using is Kawagane from the 1930 set of Japanese Gansai watercolors. I do not know the translation to that, but I can look it up. Since thou art curious, let me find it. Assuming it's still available on their website. Hell yeah, it is. Okay, hold up. Oh, hold on. It's the 19... shoot. I looked up the 1940 set. It's the 1930 set. 1930 set. Please have... Yay! The 1930 set is also available. Yay! Details, please. Alright. Yada yada. No, just tell me the names of the ding-dang colors. Where does it tell me the names of the ding-dang colors? Ah, heck. Hold up. Okay. So, kawagane translates to iron skin. When a Japanese sword is made, the more flexible interior material shingane is coated in a far stronger metal coating, which is kawagane, and that is what this color is named after. Hope that helps. It's so lovely, says Cursed Jar of Bees. Thank you. I really love this palette. And these, I do use these Japanese watercolor sets quite a bit, actually, because they are delightful. Last time I was working with, Schminke. Very much not Japanese watercolors, but also super nice. Schminke, and actually just a smattering of Daniel Smith, because that was one of my fun little, harmonized paint palette sets that I like to make, where I just take a representative rainbow of colors, mix a roughly equal amount in each of what is known in the biz as like a mother color, so like a single color that combines with each of them to kind of anchor it into a more harmonized set of colors, giving your painting a really nice sort of unified, harmonious feel. Generally, it's kind of, I've seen it described as basically, it's like slapping an Instagram filter onto your paintings instantly. And yeah, it's very easy to produce something that has a very like cohesive aesthetic in so doing, which I enjoy greatly. Anywhoosens. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like this paint palette set has kind of already done the work for me, because these colors all go together in nice ways. Looks like a blue or indigo. Yeah, I do have a set that also has like an indigo. But it's definitely a little bit more indigo than this. But this is just a really lovely, very rich blue. And I'm a big fan. Now I'm just trying to go around all these little tree bits and not paint over them with a brush that's a little too big for the job. But I would rather a slightly too big brush than use a tiny brush and end up getting brush strokes where I don't want them. And honestly, I don't want to have to wet a brush just to do these little areas. That feels silly. Okay, we have some night sky. We have some funky little trees. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. But yeah, so the palette that I used to make the crowberry piece was a rainbow of colors from Schminke that were all blended with, Lunar Red Rock from Daniel Smith, which is a gorgeous bit of paint, and I'm a big fan. Where's my art scene? There's my art scene. Okay, we're back. Hello. My palette is me Yellow Mission Gold and Daniel Smith. Ooh. That sounds really nice. That sounds like a nice situation. I have some pans here. I want to do like a proper like frog and toad palette with these, with rainbow plus raw umber, I think. My moderator / spouse is home, so I'm gonna go quickly say hi to him. I'll be back in a second, chat. Hi, baby. It still smells like soup in here? Oh my god. Will we never be free of Monday night soup? It's Thursday. Oh my god. I mean, it wasn't even that heavily spiced. Like, I used a blend of spices, but damn. I'm sorry.
Walk in, it's like, Yeah.
Well, at least it was a tasty soup, I guess.
It was a tasty soup. But it's a very
it's
smelly soup.
It's not what we're having for dinner tonight. Oh, damn. Maybe you might be right about just, like, lighting a scented candle in the kitchen. Anywho's, is your day okay?
Yeah, there's a couple of bits of post for me. One's a white dwarf, one's... I don't know.
Vinning.
Possibly the bank.
Ah, shoot. I was supposed to get a delivery at some point today. They're due within the next 25 minutes. Okay. Okay, I love you, sweetheart. Yay! Alright, my moderator/spouse is home. He remarked as soon as he came in the door that it's still... Okay, so, for background. On Monday night, I believe, I made dal for dinner. It was delicious. It was gently spiced with a combination of, if memory serves, cumin, coriander, a pinch of hing, a pinch of fenugreek, and a pinch of cinnamon. Ginger, garlic, olive oil, lentils, you know. Garnished with a bit of yogurt. It was so good. It was so good. Gently seasoned, I might add, once again. Our house has smelled like soup since then. I think I've become nose blind to it because it's been many days, but my husband walking in the door was like, soup? What the hell? It's not like I don't cook with spices a lot. Like, several days before that, I made a curry. And it didn't make the house smell of curry for days afterwards. I don't know why. I made dal, but I didn't even make, like, a chunk. You know, when you take like your whole spices and your curry leaves and stuff and you fry them up in like oil to drizzle over the top for added seasoning. I didn't even bother doing that. Like, there wasn't even a chunk. And still my entire house smells like spices days later. I suspect it has something to do with the fact that the weather is getting I don't know why the light levels keep jumping on camera because they're not in real life. But I don't know if it's to do with the fact that the weather's getting colder, so we don't have as many windows and stuff open as we would, like, in the warmer weather, but, like, I had the extractor fan on for a while. Had some scented candles going last night. I don't know what to do. I don't know what else to do. I'm just gonna keep cooking as normal and hope that someday our house does not smell like that soup we made one time, which was delicious, and the aromas, when I was cooking it, were incredible. Now, I'm kinda done. I'm making something very different tonight. I would love the house to not smell like soup anymore. Anyways. And just for clarity, in case anyone's wondering that this might have something to do with it, I washed all of the dishes, like, immediately after making the soup. Like, that pot got washed straight away. The bowls got washed straight away. There was no spillage on the countertop or anything, like on the cooktop, of soup. Everything got cleaned immediately. The dishes do not smell like soup. And yet, here we are. Why does the lighting keep doing this? I'm sorry that the lighting is having a conniption at the moment. That's super weird. But anyways, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. It's really strange, but here we are. Cursed Jar of Beast says, I'm going to be making potato soup and it's going to smell like onion and bacon in here until the weekend. Oh, that sounds so comforting, though. I just had a delivery of some essential groceries that are not available to us locally, including a box of Swedish split peas. And I'm very excited to get to make split pea soup with these. That's gonna be so stinking comforting. I haven't made split pea soup in years. I'm excited. But also I had an open-faced sandwich when I was in Denmark last. Which was about a year and a bit ago. That was they made like a spread of just like mushy split peas. And then put like some sprouts and some crispy onions on top. And, oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. I'm gonna have to try replicating that at home because oh my god, it was one of the best open sandwiches I've ever had in my life. It was so nice. was so nice. Oh my goodness. It was absolutely lovely. I love a good open sandwich. It's such a nice time. Anyways, my moderator / spouse got one, if memory serves, that had like thin like slices of potato, and then this like like I don't know, like a sort of like a sauce or a dressing that they'd made with lovage. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. Anyways, Presh mems. If it's still there, if you ever go to the sort of big like food hall in Copenhagen, go to the open sandwich place, but not the open sandwich place that's like the famous one that has the massive queue. Go to the not famous one that has interesting toppings. Trust me, it's incredible. And the queue is much shorter. So you won't have to wait as long for your sandwich. Anyways, and they do make them all to order. It's nice. Anywho, but yeah, if a sandwich without the top slice is an open sandwich, does that make a regular sandwich a closed sandwich? Asks Samantha. And thus, a hot dog is in a jar sandwich. Oh my god, yes! A hot dog is in a jar sandwich. That's canon now. What does that make a taco? I'm not getting into sandwich discourse. We'll be here all night, and I do have to go cook dinner soon. Okay. Sorry for not addressing the fire in this piece at all. I don't know whether or not I'm going to finish this off stream, or I will wait until Monday. I have no idea. It could go either way. I guess it depends on how much I feel like getting up to on the weekend. It also depends on whether or not I'm able to stream on Monday, because I am having, hopefully, this time, actually, a dental procedure on Monday morning. So I might not be able to stream on Monday. It depends on how, like, shitty I'm feeling when that's done. I'll have to assess, like, at lunchtime, I guess, and I'll let you know. Around the usual time, probably in the Discord, because that's where my announcements go. Here's a link to the Discord for anyone who needs it. But yeah, I honestly, at this point, I truly haven't the foggiest what's going to happen on Monday, so I am making no plans that far ahead. Tomorrow morning, I will be playing Silksong as per usual. I'm very excited. I'm hoping, I've got some hopes for what we might get up to tomorrow. I'm hoping to find a fast travel station. I'm hoping to get some cool new stuff, and I'm hoping to get into some scraps with some big bad bosses. But whatever happens, I'll probably get stuck on trying to launch off of those balloons the entire time and not progress at all. Knowing me. I'll just get stuck doing a slightly challenging bit of platforming, and we won't move forward at all. But we'll see. Samantha says, a soft taco is like those bead doorways your aunt had. A crispy... This is so specific, but I love this imagery. A soft taco is like those bead doorways your aunt had, and a crispy taco is a door that is held permanently ajar by a doorstop that hasn't been moved in decades. Wow. And the doorstop is a slice of poorly made gluten-free carrot cake. Anyways. I'm gonna do a little bit of detailing on the trees that are like in the foreground here, because I feel like it's what they deserve. There's a little bit of detail. I'm just gonna do this with my paint for fun. I'm just gonna try and add some semblance of deets and tails to these to make them just look a little bit more. That is barely visible. Okay. Can I get some, can this have a little bit more color to it? So that the deets are visible. That would be super cool. I've just added a little bit of this sort of teal to it, which is, I love that color. This is like patina. It's so pretty. Anyways. No, thank you. I've got like 80% of this mint tea. Thank you, sweetie. I love you. My moderator / spouse was asking if I wanted a cup of tea. Oh god, what the hell happened to the lighting? Why does it always does this near the end of the stream, I feel like. It's like it's trying to signal to, like, the camera is trying to signal to me that it's time to go because the lighting just decides to F up. That's honestly kind of how it feels, which is really funny. But also, I don't know, maybe I should just be glad that this, you know, like, reasonably high quality 2K camera got my back. Mint tea. It's minty. It is minty. Truly it is. It's also delicious. Just keeping it real simple with the tree textures here. Simple, sketchy. Don't need to be more than that. Sometimes I quite like that. I don't want to overdo it with details and textures here, because I don't want to like cover up the nice texture that the watercolor itself has lended. How many girlfriends has Hornet made in your Hollow Knight run so far? I don't know. I feel like she's got one for sure. I feel like, even though, if I'm being real, the gauntlet fight in the ant section of the game, where, okay, spoilers for Silksong for anyone who's just started the game and is making their way through. The gauntlet in the ant section where you have a helper, I feel like somehow Hornet has earned the respect of that helper, even though, I'm gonna be real, I basically spent the last wave of the fight avoiding getting killed and letting my helper do most of the work. This was not intentional, this is just kind of how it went. Oh no! But I like to think that they should be dating. I think that would be cute. You know, they're both mighty and strong and cool. They should be cool girlfriends together. Chakra is definitely a girlfriend, and she sings a beautiful song. They should sing songs together. Songs of Silk, even, because it's Silksong. I think that would be real cute. But yeah, Chakra's definitely a girlfriend, so Samantha, I 100% with you on that. Is there anything else I can easily color in right now? Don't know, but hopefully, Songs of Silk and Steel, says Samantha. That should be the title of their album. Either that, or that's like, or that's like a, I don't know. I feel like that sounds like the name of like a fantasy romance novel, like A Song of Silk and Steel. Am I right? Someone's written that novel. Somebody's written that novel. The book side of TikTok is all over it. It's so popular. Anyways, my lungs are not working very well, and I need to start dinner. So I think I'm gonna call it there for today, if that's all right, everybody. I will be back playing Silksong in the morning. I'm sorry we didn't finish this, but apparently I was just really chatty today, and you've been a wonderful group of people to chat with, so thank you for that. And I've had a very nice time chatting. So you know, that's a thing. Should we go say hi to someone who's doing a thing? I think we should. Who should we raid? Who have I not raided in a while? I don't know. I am so tired. Have a great rest of your day / night, says Curse Jarpies. Thank you. I'm gonna get the raid doodad up, and we're gonna find someone to raid. Who shall I say hello to? Let me just check and make sure that this person isn't just about to finish. I don't think they are. I think they've probably literally just started. Okay, we're gonna raid Mai, who has literally just started, because we can. And I'm probably gonna raid and run pretty quickly, because I have to cook dinner, so. But, let's pop in with some ananas. And I'm going to pop a generic raid message in the chat. If you have the emotes, feel free to grab the emotes. If you don't have the emotes, you can just say generic raid message and append any cool emotes that you do have if you want to. It's all good. I don't mind. Regardless, thank you for hanging out for parts of this painting. I might just finish the rest of it off stream, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. But regardless, I will be back maybe on Monday. I don't know that either. Depends. Well, I'll be back on Friday, because I am streaming tomorrow. God, my sense of time is... I'm just gonna go, because I'm tired. I've forgotten how to speak. So, have a really good night, everybody. Good night, and good luck.